This episode is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Learn more at slashandcast.net.
There are legends around here.
Who died and made you fucking king of the zombies?
Even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not yet dead.
I want to play a game.
Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. My name's Isaiah, joined tonight by Mark. How are you doing this weekend, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm still, I don't know how you would say it, but I'm still feeling really excited to listen to the extra episode we did with Dead in Santa Carla. I can't wait to hear that.
It's
gonna
be
be
so
so
much
fun.
It was great. Almost 3 hours just ranking the Predator and Alien series. It's great. Be on the lookout for that, guys. It is their bonus episode. It's us ranking all 12 movies in both franchises and the Alien versus Predator movies. It was a lot of fucking fun. It was me and Mark with both guys from Dead in Santa Carla, so Andy and Brian, and then also Rod from the Murder Moose podcast. So it was a lot of fun. Be on the lookout for that through their show. It was a great time. Honestly, we had so much fucking fun. It was great. And then I mean, we were recording. We started at like 9 Central Time. We didn't get done till like midnight.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
It was late, but it was so much fun, so worth it. So definitely be on the lookout for that, and definitely check out their show as well. It's and Rod's show for Murder Moose. So, and they're both shows are on the Slash and Cast Podcast Network, along with us. So good stuff. Now we're wrapping up our month-long look at comedy franchises. So we've talked about Ghostbusters, Naked Gun, and Revenge of the Nerds, and we're ending it with the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. But before we get into all that, though, what have you been up to this week?
A little bit of the same. I've been trying to play some of the games that I've left unfinished because I'm really bad at not finishing games. It's becoming a real issue. when you keep buying games and you haven't finished the games you've gotten already.
Yep.
I've been playing my Switch, trying to beat Luigi's Mansion, and that game's still it's a family friendly game, but it's so charming and funny. And if you like Switch, I can't recommend it anymore. I tried a new game called Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Okay.
And it's got like a cartoony aesthetic like Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it's got like puzzles and platforming like Zelda with combat that's sort of like Assassin's Creed, I think Odyssey, because it was made by Ubisoft Quebec, and I'm pretty sure it's the same team that made Odyssey. It's pretty fun so far. Still playing some Dark Souls. Watching Beverly Hills Cop. We started watching. I think I heard you guys talk about it before, but we started watching Modern Family, and that show is so fucking funny.
Okay.
I love the Manny, the little chubby Colombian kid.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it sounds like you've had a kind of a little bit of a packed week. I know for myself, this week I haven't really played much for games. I played a little bit of Destiny, and I logged into Red Dead Redemption Online one time this week. Other than that, we had my mom's 60th birthday this weekend, so I went up there on Friday morning and then came back Saturday afternoon. So that was 2 days.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was 2 days taken up for that. I did watch the Beverly Hills Cop movies on Monday because I had Monday off because of the holiday. So I watched all 3 movies right in a row. I just got them right out of the way just so they were fresh in my mind for tonight and whatnot. Other than that, I've been watching some Trailer Park Boys still. I'm about almost done with season 12 now. And other than that, watched, I think, a little bit of Parks and Rec because the girlfriend got me into watching that. So I watched like an episode or 2 of that.
I love that show so much.
I see. The thing is with that show is I didn't like it at first because when I first tried watching it was when it first came out. So the first season isn't really that good. So I kind of gave up on it and I never went back to it. But then she kept telling me about how good it was. And so we finally sat down to watch it and she got me into it. And we just started with season 2 and I fucking love it. I mean, I like it about as much as I like The Office now. So
Chris Pratt is my favorite on that show. He is so funny.
He is such a dumbass and it's so good. I love it.
Him
so
and
much.
Nick Offerman.
Yep.
He's really funny too.
Yes. Oh my God. That's been a blast getting to revisit that and, finally get appreciation for it, honestly. Because I'd never appreciated it before because I only went off of what I saw from the first season when I first tried to watch it. So, been totally loving that. Other than that, I rewatched Aliens 3, Alien vs. Predator. Tried watching Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and like I had said last night on their shows, I fucking turned that shit off 20 minutes in because I just couldn't do it. So beyond that, that's kind of all I've really been up to, other than really just kind of working, spending time with the girlfriend, and then just that little bit. It's been kind of a busy week, especially with my mom's birthday and everything. So, and the traveling in between, because I fucking hate driving, but it's 3 to 4 hour drive up there each way and back. So I fucking hate it. I hate driving so much.
Yeah, same.
And the funny thing is me and the girlfriend are actually planning on doing like a vacation road trip. So we're talking about doing a road trip for a week, and that'll be interesting because, yeah, I fucking hate driving. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
I hate driving in the city because I live really close to a pretty big city.
Yep.
I hate driving in the city, and I don't know, that sounds like a nightmare to me, dude. Because I even more, I hate driving in places I'm not familiar because I get so frustrated.
See, I get frustrated, but then I also get like really bad anxiety, especially in cities. I won't drive in downtown Minneapolis.
Yes,
whatsoever.
dude, I get so anxious. Like when I'm on a freeway and I got the barrier wall to my left and a big ass semi on my right, I get so fucking anxious.
Yep.
I'm like, this dude could kill me in an instant.
Yep, pretty much. I tell you what, like I it's like fucking white knuckled when I'm driving in the city, and like I turn into a whole different person.
Yeah,
like you see the absolute worst come out of me when I'm fucking driving, especially in the city. It's bad. Like I feel bad for anybody that ever rides with me if I have to drive downtown because it's not going to be pretty whatsoever.
Yeah. It sucks too because all the cool shit is downtown.
Right, exactly. But I mean, the nice thing, especially around here, is that we're getting, because we've got the light rail and everything, and they're actually building the light rail to come out to the town I'm in. So like literally in like 2 years, I'll be able to just take the light rail and just ride that downtown and back. I won't have to ever drive downtown again. So
yeah, I always wish I lived in London or something, where everybody's taking a train to work.
Yep.
And, man, I can just let someone else take me to work and I can just sit here on my phone or play my Nintendo or read a book or do a Sudoku or something and then not have to worry about none of that.
Oh, I tell you what, wouldn't that be great? I really wish I didn't have to have a car and I could just do public transportation. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be able to see my family if I didn't drive. But at the same time, I just wish I didn't have to drive. I really don't. But that's it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the light rail will be nice once they get that put in around here, just because then I won't have to ever drive downtown again, which is kind of the thing I'm looking forward to the most. But funny that you mentioned the Switch and everything, because I've been kind of going back and forth this week on, because like a bunch of the people from the network have like Nintendo Switches, and they're talking about playing games together and stuff, like doing Mario Kart and like Animal Crossing and stuff. It made me really miss my Switch, so I've been contemplating trading in my fucking Xbox One S that I haven't used in like a year and a half, and putting that towards another Switch, because I never should have fucking sold that thing.
Same, dude. I was so upset when I had to sell mine.
It's so bad. Because I
got the Switch Lite now, which is
Yeah.
perfect for me because I never played in dock mode. I always played in handheld. So,
Very true.
and it's $100 cheaper.
Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea, because I priced it out through GameStop what I would get for my S, because I had that limited edition Xbox One S that had the 2 terabyte hard drive.
Oh, nice.
So I can get like $130 for that. So I'm like, that would be good, because then I can put that towards that. I didn't even think about getting the Lite, because I was just thinking about getting the regular one for the $299, but that's actually not a bad idea, because if I do the trade-in for that, get $130, then I'm spending under $100 for a Nintendo Switch brand new then.
Yeah. And when they just came out with that Nintendo Direct, and I watched some of that, and that's what got me into wanting to play it again.
Yeah.
They just released a new Mario game, and I bought that, and that'll be here probably sometime this week. And then they had a limited edition triple pack it has Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
And I loved Mario 64. I never played the other one.
Same.
So I got that coming, and they're re-releasing Zelda Skyward Sword, and people were talking about they're going to do an HD collection like they did with Mario for Zelda this year, because it's the 35th anniversary of Zelda this year.
Right.
So that'd be cool.
That'd be great.
I love me some Mario and Zelda.
Oh, same. Like fucking when I was a kid, definitely when we had our regular Nintendo, it was all fucking Mario, and then the original Zelda and everything. And then when we got our 64, I played the shit out of some fucking Mario 64. I tell you what, between that and Mario Kart,
and
Jesus
Mario
Christ.
64, GoldenEye,
Yep.
Mario Kart, dude. I love Nintendo.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so I'm definitely thinking about getting a Switch again. Plus, be able to play Among Us from the Switch too would be kind of nice. So I don't have to always use my.
It's better than the phone. I still like the PC better, but it's definitely better than the phone. And you can chill on the couch and play. It's really nice.
Yeah, because it'd be nice not to have to always turn on my fucking PC to play. I mean, I could play on my phone, but I just don't want to deal with that, because I've heard of how hard it is to do the controls and stuff.
Yeah, the controls are weird.
Yeah, and I'm not about that. I already use my phone enough, and it drains the battery enough, so I don't want to fucking use it for more. Especially when we get to playing with like people from the network and stuff, because then it'd be nice just to be able to pull up my Switch instead of having to get on my PC to play. So
Yeah, I didn't know they were all into Mario Kart and things. I'm gonna have to. Well, they're talking about maybe Mario Kart 9 comes out this year.
ooh,
So if that, I'll definitely get that. I used to have 8 when I had my Switch before,
mm-hmm.
and it's insane how they can take this game and keep it the same and just as fun, but still like expand on it and make it more.
Yeah. Yeah, because how old is that game? Because I remember that's at least a few years old, isn't it?
Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's old then.
Yeah.
That's a while ago, because, the Switch has been out for, 3 or 4 years now?
I think 4, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're talking at least 4 to 5 years old for that fucking game, so that's great. It's amazing how popular games like that can stick around, and other ones
The thing is, so I was thinking about this to myself the other day. I have a Switch, and I have a bunch of different games, and some of them are ports from other consoles, and most of them are Nintendo-owned games.
Mm-hmm.
And all my Nintendo-owned games, my Zeldas, my Marios, all of them, not a single one of them ever gets a patch update because they're released complete. There's no issues. They don't release them early like these others, so they're getting a much better reputation because you're buying a game that's finished.
Right. Exactly. Not these games that are being fucking rushed out and having to have a patch on day one and then patches.
Right, and the argument
month.
I always hear against that is that it's not as complex as like a Skyrim game or a Halo or something. And my argument against this is go play Zelda Breath of the Wild because it's one of the most complex games I've ever played.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed 100%. Yeah, so, actually, now talking to you about this a little bit, I think I am going to end up doing that, and I'm probably going to get the light, just because I never used the dock either when I played. I mean, because honestly, as long as I can get a fucking SD card in there to do, like, the downloadable games, too, I'm fucking good to go, because I won't ever use that fucking dock.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the light of the it still takes cartridges. It's not digital only, so you can still buy cartridges for it. And when I got it last year for my birthday, my girlfriend got me this little battery pack that clips around it that can give it extra battery.
Oh, nice.
And without it, you get about 4-ish hours battery. So if you want to game all day, it's nice to have, but you don't need it.
Okay. That's good to know. I'll have to look into that too then. Because, yeah, I mean, to get away with only paying $70 for a Nintendo Switch brand new, I think will be a good idea. Because then I can spend some on games too.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be the way to go for this. And I'll have a handheld console and something to bring on trips and stuff like that, especially when I'm on a fucking airplane, like going to Texas.
Yeah, it's definitely coming with me to go to Texas, that's for sure.
Yeah. Guaranteed, damn it. All right. So kind of moving on from there, there's just a couple things for news I wanted to cover and kind of get your take on this. So we've talked a little bit about the new Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead that's supposed to be coming out. So we actually got word that it is actually coming May 21st to Netflix. And so
soon.
It is very, very soon. I think they're trying to capitalize because, the whole buzz in the Justice League and everything. So, I mean, it's another Zack Snyder movie, so why not get that out there? We knew it was coming. It's just that we didn't have a date, and all of a sudden they dropped it, and it's, like less than 3 months away. So I've been pumped for this. It'll be interesting to see what it's going to look like once we actually get a trailer, because obviously we know Zack Snyder did the Dawn of the Dead remake, and it's not necessarily like a sequel to that, but just to kind of, because honestly, the Dawn of the Dead remake is probably one of the best horror remakes out there. And, the take that he did on it was so well done, I think. It'll be interesting to see what he is doing with this, because I know we've talked about on the show, like, how he just kind of wanted something to just kind of go balls to the wall with, and that's why he ended up doing this. So I'm very, very interested to see what he's done with this movie. Well,
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited for more of that. And, I like the Dawn of the Dead. He's definitely a great guy to pick for it. I think they could have, copped out and got, I don't know. I can't even think. There's somebody that wouldn't fit, right. That does like other, because he's from Justice League is what you said, right?
Yep. He did the Justice League and all those movies.
I haven't watched any of that stuff. I'm not a big DC guy. But I do love the Dawn of the Dead remake, and I'm excited for it. And coming next month, hell yes.
Well, May. So we got about 3 months, but it is coming up pretty quick.
Oh, I thought you said March.
Well,
that's why I said, man, that's soon.
Oh, no. What I was saying was next month, the Justice League, his version of the Justice League is coming out on HBO Max, and so it seems like Netflix was trying to kind of ride the thunder of that, basically, and get this released sooner, because we didn't really have a release date for it up until this week, and so they're releasing it basically 3 months from now. So
yeah, they're getting a lot of competition from HBO. They're going to have to step up their game.
Yep, that's for sure.
HBO's becoming my favorite streaming platform, which is crazy because
Yeah.
I shunned it for so long. I'm like, I ain't paying for that bullshit.
I know. And, because I obviously get it just because of where I work and stuff. And, yeah, it's made me a believer in it. Like, if I wasn't getting it for nothing, I would definitely be paying for this service. Because it's amazing because you get all the HBO stuff. On top of that, you get, like, a bunch of DC stuff and all this other stuff that isn't necessarily just HBO. And it's amazing because they've got so much content. It's not even funny. But then also you've got all the Warner Brothers stuff that's going to be released.
As far as I know, it's the only streaming platform you can watch Big Bang Theory on, which is a big plus for me.
Yep. That and also South Park too, because they've got that contract for that as well.
Did you see that they're making a vaccine special?
No, I didn't see that.
They're coming out with another special for the vaccine.
That's hilarious. That's great. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be good. South Park is always on point when it comes to those things.
They're so funny.
It's great. That's awesome. I didn't know that, and that gives me something to look forward to.
I don't know when. I just scrolling and saw it somewhere.
But yeah, so that's coming May for Army of the Dead. So another thing I kind of wanted to touch on is they've been doing a lot of Toy Fair stuff, announcements and whatnot. And Mezco, who makes a lot of different like collectibles and whatnot, one of their lines that's probably my favorite is the 112 collective figures, which are typically they're a lot like the NECA figures, but they use like real like fabric for clothing instead of just molded plastic. And so they're a little bit spendier too, and they're just high quality. They announced that they're coming out with a Halloween 2 Michael Myers figure. So based off of obviously the 1981 movie. And it's got a few different heads and obviously some different hands and weapons and stuff like that from the movie. It looks amazing from the kind of the promotional shots that they have for it. And then on top of that, they're also releasing a Crow figure too, which looks fucking amazing. It looks so cool. It's got the trench coat and everything. It's fucking awesome.
Does that the H2 Michael have like an accessory where he looks like he's on fire?
God, that would be fucking amazing, dude. That would be so cool. Oh my God, I would kill for something like that. That would be fucking awesome. I wish. But yeah, so they've got those, and then they've got a few different like Leatherface, or they've got a Leatherface like kind of like bobblehead looking figure too that they're releasing. So they've got some pretty cool stuff that's coming out, which is something to look forward to. No real like release date on that yet, just because they were just kind of showing them off at the toy fair. So it'll be interesting to see if anything else comes up, because I know that NECA is supposed to be releasing the Friday 7 Jason at some point, and we haven't really heard much about when that's going to be released because it got pushed back. But it'll be interesting to see if they've got anything else up their sleeves that's going to be coming from, the horror genre and whatnot, because they usually do, seeing as that's kind of a large part of their market.
Yeah, especially their Jasons and Freddys and things like that. Mm-hmm. I got a Ash vs. Evil Dead one from them for Christmas.
Okay.
And it looks amazing. It's got... you probably know the one I'm talking about. It's got like that holographic kind of cover on the front of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I got that thing is awesome.
Yeah, I fucking love their figures. I have way too many of their figures. Like I really can't buy anymore. Like for instance, like Shout Factory just did a sale recently where they had a bunch of stuff like up to 50% off. I was gonna rebuy Slumber Party Massacre from them as well as My Bloody Valentine just to get the figures because they came with the figures and they had them for like $30 for the movie and the figure.
Huh.
I almost fucking got it, but I'm like, no, don't do it because you don't need any more figures right now.
It's the Driller Killer from Slumber Party Massacre?
Yeah.
I fucking want that, dude.
Yeah, Shout Factory's got it because it comes with the Steelbook Blu-ray of it,
Oh.
and then it comes with the figure. Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
They did that with the damn Silent Night, Deadly Night like 3 years ago or something like that, and I wanted it so fucking bad for that Billy figure.
Yep, and then they did Ricky for part 2.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I probably should have because I bought the movie later on, and it was only like, I think it was only like $15 cheaper for just the movie.
Yeah, it's probably close to that because I think I remember it was like $60 or something like that for the one with the figure. So yeah, it wasn't much higher.
Yeah.
So it would have been worth getting for it, but I didn't go for it, and I kind of feel like I should have, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't have the fucking shelf space right now. You know?
Yeah.
I really don't. But it is what it is. So that's kind of interesting to see, you know, them kind of get some more announcements up for collectibles like that. And the last thing I really had for the last thing I really had for news is Shudder ordered up a 3rd season of Creepshow, and obviously season 2 is yet to come, but that's coming in April, so they've already greenlit a 3rd season for that. And yeah, Creepshow was great for that first season. It was definitely very different for each episode, and I liked what they did with it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with season 2, and then what they're going to end up doing for season 3.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was wondering if you were going to mention that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's kind of all I had. All I really had for kind of news for this week. There was one more thing actually. Tim Burton, because we talked about Tim Burton doing a new Addams Family series, and
yeah,
we got word that the Netflix series is going to be based on Wednesday Addams. So he's going to be directing the episodes, and it's going to be focused on Wednesday. So it's interesting. I would have preferred just like a full Addams Family, and I'm sure the characters are going to be in there, but it's different.
It's fucking Johnny Depp as Gomez. I'm so fucking pissed about that.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Tim Burton always... Johnny Depp's fine. It's whatever. You like him, that's fine. I don't like him for Gomez. And I don't see why Tim Burton can't do something without him. I don't know. That's just me.
Sure.
Maybe I'm just a stick in the mud.
Quit being a stick in the mud.
You know, I really liked Rami Malek for that role. I thought he could pull that off really well.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. He's definitely got some fucking range, that's for sure.
He's got he looks like kind of like I can't remember the guy from the 90s reboot or the 90s movie, not a reboot, but the actor, can't remember his name, he played Gomez. He looks like him.
Oh, he looks like a young Raul Julia.
Yeah, he looks like him, I think.
Yeah, I can see that kind of resemblance in a way, yeah. He definitely looks like a young, thin Raul Julia without the mustache, for sure. Yeah, that could be interesting. That'd be an interesting choice for that. But yeah, so we don't really have much information on that as of yet. I'm sure, because that's pretty big news. I mean, for him to be doing a show for Netflix like that and directing the episodes, I'm sure we're going to hear more shortly regarding that, especially cast and whatnot. But be on the lookout for that. So, are you ready to talk about some Beverly Hills Cop?
Well, I did have a couple things I wanted to talk to you about real quick.
Sure.
I wanted to see what you thought about that Mortal Kombat trailer.
Oh my god, I fucking loved it.
It was fucking dope, dude. And I wasn't super crazy about Scorpion in it, but fucking Sub-Zero was brutal, dude.
Oh my god, how he fucking just destroys Jax's fucking arms in that trailer.
Right, and then he catches
awesome.
the blood in the air and turns it into a dagger. That was fucking sick.
So cool. I'm super pumped for that fucking movie. I'm telling you what. I'm so pumped for that movie now.
It was weird at first. I wasn't really digging it because they had some random guy that I'd never heard of. And I thought, well, are they trying to make him Liu Kang? because they're like, oh, that's not a birthmark, that's an invitation to Mortal Kombat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ended up getting to see, Kung Lao, and you see, I think Goro was in it for a little bit,
Yep.
and Sonya Blade, and Jax, and all the classics. I don't remember if we saw Johnny Cage in the trailer. He was one of my favorite characters from the movies.
I don't think he's in it. I don't believe, but I could be wrong.
That's like the running, I think, is the running Mortal Kombat joke is Johnny Cage always dies.
Right.
And I was reading an article on, I don't remember what it was, some journalist has an article on some website that's big on trying to do the hashtag cancel, and they were talking about this movie, saying it was some kind of I don't know, like unprogressive the way that they left Chun-Li out of the movie, and I just thought that was so fucking funny. They're saying, where's Chun-Li? You leaving out the strongest female character in the movie. It's like,
I didn't see that.
yeah. They were getting bashed in the comments. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But hey, real talk, I'm down for that crossover. That would be sick.
Yeah.
Another thing real quick, Diablo 2 is getting a remaster.
I didn't see that.
They're calling it Diablo 2 Resurrected. It was just announced last week at the BlizzCon. I'm pretty pumped for it. I love Diablo, and I think if I can get on to it when it's fresh, it'll have a high player base, so I'm probably going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's rumors that Castlevania, Silent Hill, and Metal Gear Solid are all being looked at for remakes, which Castlevania and Silent Hill I'm down for. Metal Gear Solid without Hideo Kojima, I say no thank you.
Right. I agree.
It's because the last game was about zombies, and it was just I didn't even play it. It got such bad reviews. Metal Gear Survive, I think it was called.
Oh yeah, you only heard about that game for like a few weeks, and then after that, there was just silence.
Yeah, and then Hideo Kojima went off to do Death Stranding, and that game looked so weird. I wasn't even interested. And the last thing I got was that there's apparently Edgar Wright is writing a readaptation of The Running Man, and I was wondering what you thought about that.
So, honestly, I did see something about that, and I think if anybody could probably do it justice, I think Edgar Wright is one of those people.
I'm pretty excited for it, honestly.
Because he's honestly one of the best filmmakers of this generation. I've loved everything he's fucking done. I mean, he's such a great storyteller, and he when he goes after something, he really has a fucking vision for it. And like I've literally have loved every fucking movie he's brought out. So I think he could really do something special with it. And Running Man is great material anyways, and I think he could really do something really, really cool with it. So I'm totally all for it.
Yeah, I thought it'd be cool if he took Arnold and put him in it as a bad guy. I thought that would be really cool.
That would be great. Oh, that would be so cool. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay.
I really just wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat, to be honest, because that trailer looks so fucking badass.
I've watched it about 10 or 12 times.
I think I've watched it twice.
Just because it's the Red Band trailer, so I just kept watching it because I just wanted to see all those deaths all over again. It's going to be fucking brutal, and that's what I can't wait for, just because they need to show the fatalities in it. It's got to have fatalities.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see a fucking spine be ripped out.
Oh, yeah. And that guy, they didn't say his name, but I thought he was Shang Tsung, and he looked pretty fucking badass, too.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be good. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's talk about some comedies here. All right, we're going to start off with the original Beverly Hills Cop. It was released on December 5th, 1984, directed by Martin Brest. Cast, we have Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, John Ashton, Ronnie Cox, and Stephen Burkhoff, who we talked about in our Rambo franchise recap from back in December. This had a budget of $14 million and grossed $316 million. So this made a fuck ton of money off of that small budget. And then just some trivia for this. Axel Foley's T-shirt is from Mumford, a real-life Detroit area school one of the filmmakers attended. When the film came out, the school actually got orders for the shirts from customers all over the world. Could you imagine working for the school and just having all these fucking people from around the world calling your school to fucking order these shirts because of the popularity of this fucking movie?
Hell yeah, dude. I'd sell them like hotcakes.
No kidding. But I couldn't even imagine the kind of just massive amounts of phone calls they probably fucking got for this shirt.
Well, Eddie Murphy was hot at this time.
Oh, yeah.
That's why this movie sold so well. He was so fucking popular.
Yeah. Like, this was the first of 7 Eddie Murphy movies in a row that opened #1 at the box office. So, like,
this was after Raw, wasn't it?
Yes, because Raw was in 1984 as well. So, yeah, this has got to be after it. Yeah, because it came out in December. So, yeah, this was definitely after Raw. So, I mean, yeah, his popularity was fucking just through the roof at this point. The final piece of trivia I really had was Gilbert R. Hill was a real-life police department homicide detective, and he played Inspector Todd. And so he, I thought that was interesting. I didn't even really know that because I haven't really looked into trivia for this movie up until we were going to do this. I didn't know that he was actually a real-life detective, and that he wasn't just some actor playing a detective. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, when they have like experienced people on set, it really, because like we were talking about Predator last night, and with just having like a Navy SEAL on set, you know, it translates to like when you got these people writing a cop drama that nobody knows what cops are like, you're going to notice when you watch the movie,
right? That is for sure. So this is by far, and out of like all of this month and whatnot, and all the comedy movies that we've talked about, this is by far my favorite comedy movie.
Same.
Probably of all time, honestly. Like, this movie, I don't think there's one thing I could say bad about this movie. I don't think there's anything wrong with this movie. I think this is, like, honestly, the perfect comedy movie. And honestly, it really plays to Eddie Murphy's strengths in this. I mean, he is a fucking genius.
He is an improv master. Mm-hmm. He is so fucking good. Axel Foley is one of the most entertaining bullshit artists I've ever seen on a movie.
Yes. And I think I was reading somewhere also, and this kind of goes along with trivia, is that like between him, Judge Reinhold, and John Ashton, like a lot of their dialogue and stuff was improv. And like a lot of times they would be like pinching themselves to try to make themselves not laugh just because they were trying not to break character and fucking ruin the take just because of how much improv that they were doing. And like a lot of times the takes would be ruined by people on the fucking crew busting out laughing while the cast is sitting there trying to make themselves not laugh. I think that's just great. And that just really shows like how well not only Eddie Murphy is, but how they work together really well, you know, on this movie. And like those 3 characters especially, you can just see the chemistry on screen between those 3 characters, and you know, obviously the actors playing them, just because it like the one thing that really works with this and the second movie is just that chemistry. Because like when we get to the third movie, and we'll talk more about it at that point, it doesn't have that same chemistry because not all those characters are there, and it just feels different, you know? But
I like how you see true character development throughout the movies. Because at first, you know, you got Taggart, who fucking hates Foley. Yep. He absolutely can't stand Foley. And you got Billy, he's just this young, green behind the ears kid that don't know anything, super polite. And Foley's just fucking with them. That banana in the tailpipe was so fucking clever.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Shrimp salad sandwich.
And he's like, oh, this is great. And he's just eating it. And he's like, get rid of that stuff.
It's so good. Just everything, and then just with Foley just being almost like manipulating people, especially in these first two movies. Like, he's just like the master manipulator. And
yeah, like when he's selling the cigarettes on the back of the truck.
Yes. Between that and then, like, with the second movie with the construction crew, them to fucking leave so he could just stay at the house.
This is the wrong plans.
They wanted a roundhouse. Oh my god, it's so good. We'll talk about that soon. But yeah, so he's like the perfect master manipulator, and just the way his way with words and stuff, and he's just like really just he's honestly kind of like that wisecracking young detective that's really almost in a way doesn't really give a fuck, but at the same time, obviously he wants to solve, the mystery about why his buddy was murdered. Right,
and that's the whole premise of why he's there and why he's going through all these back doors, because it's super personal to him. And I love that premise of what gets him out to Beverly Hills is his buddy comes back from working a security job in Beverly Hills, and they used to be tramps running around Detroit stealing cars and getting drunk and doing stuff.
Yep.
And then he just gets whacked by that guy. I mean, I can't remember his name. He plays Mike.
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah. When he throws him over the cart and he gets all that food all over his face, that is such a feel-good moment.
Yes.
It's like, fuck yeah, you greasy motherfucker, take that.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh my god, and then back in Detroit, you have Paul Reiser as Eddie Murphy's kind of like little sidekick.
Yeah.
And he's just hilarious in this and in the second movie. I really wish they would have continued his character into the third movie as well. But that's kind of another thing of why 3 isn't a very good movie. But just kind of the dialogue between them two is great too. Between Eddie and Inspector Todd, that's always great as well. I mean, there's just so much good going on in this movie, and then all the characters, like I really feel like all the characters got fleshed out how they should have in
right
this,
exactly. Like it was well written, it was very smart writing. Like I said, that I don't know, I thought just something simple like that banana in the tailpipe, I thought that was incredibly, and it was clever writing.
Yep.
For me, the best part about all these movies is the score. The music in this is so fucking good.
I think both from the actual score of the movie by what was his name, Harold Faltermeyer. He did a wonderful job with the score in this, and then also just even the soundtrack. I mean, you've got The Heat Is On in the beginning that kind of gets you started, gets you pumped up for the movie. I mean, you've got the Neutron Dance, which is great when they're fucking chasing the semi full of cigarettes. That's great. Like,
and then that car chase, dude, barreling down, knocking all those cars.
Yep.
Oh, it's so fucking epic. I love car chase scenes.
Same. Very, very much so. Yeah, definitely the music in this is fucking amazing. And the jingle to the movies, man, I've probably hummed that thing 1,000 times in my life. That was like when I first learned how to play the keyboards and stuff. That was the first thing I learned how to play, was the fucking Beverly Hills Cop theme song. I just fucking love it. Exactly. I fucking love it.
Like every time I hear it now, I think of Peter Griffin doing it.
Oh shit, that's good. Also, with this movie, you got to talk about Serge. Serge is fucking hilarious in this. In the art gallery and stuff like that. And
oh yeah, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like, it's very sexy. You'll like it.
Bronson Pinchot is so fucking hilarious. I'm really glad that they brought him back for part 3. Because, like, he was definitely missing in part 2. And I guess from what I was reading earlier, too, is that he was actually supposed to be in part 2, but they didn't ever end up using his character. So He wasn't, but that would have been great if he would have been in part 2 as well. Because he's such a great like comedy character, like kind of a side character and whatnot. It's almost criminal that he wasn't in part 2. So that was great that they brought him back for part 3. But yeah, he was kind of a standout for me for part 1 as well. Obviously, Victor Maitland was like the perfect villain for this movie. Kind of this greasy German like crime lord, basically. And you know, Stephen Burkhoff, he always does really, really good like villains. And you know, that was obviously evident when he was in Rambo. I think it was Rambo 2, if I remember rightly. I think that's what it was.
So. There's something about the 80s, and we've said this a million times, but there's something about the 80s where they were just obsessed with foreign villains.
Mm-hmm. That is very true.
It fits so well to this with the art dealings and all this hush-hush underground stuff. It works so well. And like you said, he's such a great villain.
Yeah. And yes, it was First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, okay.
Which was actually a year after this. So, but yeah.
Just like the art gallery guy, I really wanted to mention real quick the guy that was serving at the hotel that gave Foley the bananas. He cracked me up.
Oh, Damon Wayans? That was fucking hilarious.
You take those bananas. like he's doing something naughty. He's looking around.
Oh, it's so good.
You can tell he's like, This cute guy wants some bananas. I'm gonna give him some bananas. He just had that look like he was like, you take them bananas.
God, it's so good. The other character, obviously that we got to talk about is Ronnie Cox as Lieutenant Bogomil. He was
he's so fucking good.
He's so perfect for that role, and I mean, he usually plays those kind of more authority type figures and whatnot, and it's such a great casting decision with that as well. I mean, honestly, this movie was perfectly cast for every fucking character in this movie. I don't think I would have done anything different. Like I said in the beginning, I think this is the perfect fucking movie. I wouldn't change anything with this fucking movie.
It's up there as one of my favorite comedy movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd put a lot of Eddie Murphy's movies into that category.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Eddie Murphy. If we ever do another 80s comedy theme, I would love to do Coming to America. That's another one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, man, I can't think of anything negative to say about this movie.
Mm-mm. I mean, even that ending, like, climactic scene at the fucking mansion with the shootout and everything, that was fucking perfect, too.
I couldn't help but think that was the same location they shot Commando.
You know, honestly, that thought crossed my mind at some point, too.
I was like, it looked exactly the same.
I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it if it was the same place that Commando was shot, honestly. I mean, it would make sense, so... But, yeah, I don't think there's really anything else really to say about it because it's fucking just amazing.
Yeah, I could say the next one too, number 2. I really don't have a whole lot to complain about with it.
Yeah,
3, I don't hate 3, but it is not nearly as good, and we'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's a good place to kind of stop with part 1. I mean, it's honestly just like the perfect comedy movie. Nothing really bad you can really say about it. It's got the best characters and the best actors in those roles, and the chemistry is there for everybody. It's just so well done. And then getting to see like the one thing I will say is towards the end we start to, because we know Billy's green and kind of newer, but then we see him with the fucking gunplay and everything. Yeah, it's just a fucking badass underneath all that, which I fucking love.
You get more of that, and you see a lot more of that in the next movie.
Definitely. Definitely. And let's go ahead and segue into that. Let's talk about Beverly Hills Cop 2. So this was released just a few years later on May 20th, 1987. This one was directed by Tony Scott. So obviously Tony Scott, very well known, did Top Gun, and that's actually why he got this job, was because of Top Gun. Coming back, we had Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, John Ashton, Ronnie Cox, and we also have in this Bridget Nielsen. This one had a budget of $28 million and grossed almost $300 million. So it didn't quite make as much money, but it still made a fuck ton of money.
That's still a lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
dude.
Exactly. According to the DVD documentary, Paramount originally wanted to produce a TV series for Beverly Hills Cop after the success of the first film, but Eddie Murphy didn't want to go back to television, so they made this sequel instead, which I thought was really interesting. Because I didn't know that they wanted to do that. I knew that, like, what was it, like 10 years ago, they were talking about making a Beverly Hills Cop TV series to kind of introduce a new character, and it was supposed to be like Axel's son or something like that. But I never knew about the one from the 80s, which I thought was really interesting. Now, the other piece of trivia, rather, that I had was Tony Scott and Bridget Nielsen actually had an affair during filming of this, which, I mean, she's a fucking tall blonde, incredibly gorgeous. I mean,
yeah,
you can't really blame them. And then producers Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer hired Tony Scott because of Top Gun. So he was definitely a good choice for this to kind of continue this story. And I mean, he knows action movies, and this is like a great action comedy. And yeah, like we were saying, it's there isn't really much bad to say about this one either. It's basically just a continuation of part one, and the only thing that I would say that I wish we had more of was more of Bogomil, because obviously he gets shot, and so you don't really see much of him in the movie. That'd be the only thing I wish we had more of, was more of Bogomil. But because he's laid up after being almost killed, we don't really get much of him in this movie. But that's really kind of the only thing.
I liked that Dean Stockwell was in it as a bad guy, and I wish he would have lived longer so you get more of him.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of Quantum Leap growing up.
Yep, same.
I used to have I don't know, it was like maybe like a Simon Says thing. It was like a square that had a bunch of colored buttons on it, and I'd put like a Slim Jim in my mouth and pretend like I was talking to Ziggy.
That's great.
First off, from the very beginning of this movie, Axel Foley looks damn good in a suit and a Ferrari.
Yes, he does. I like with that beginning whole kind of sequence where with the credit card stuff.
Yeah.
Where he meets up with the dude, and then we find out that his cousin is the guy from the first movie with the truck of cigarettes. And he recognizes him.
Down. This guy's a cop. He ain't my cop. He's my nephew. If you ain't a cop, why can't I pat you down?
Right? Oh, God, it's so good. He's just so quick-witted. That's why Eddie Murphy's just, like, the best. Because he's so quick-witted, and that character is so quick-witted. It's just so perfect. That scene just plays out so perfectly. And then
like when he was pretending to be a psychic at the...
Yes.
That just came out of nowhere, and they ate it up. Like, what?
Oh, it's so good. The other piece of trivia I didn't really write down for 1 and 2, and actually for part 3 as well. It kind of plays with all three. The first two they go to the strip joint, but part 3 is the only one that doesn't have that. Obviously, because I think that wasn't. I think part 3 was like PG-13. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I don't remember. Anyways, but yeah, so like they had the running joke of Axel bringing the cops to the strip joint in the first 2 movies, but they didn't do that in the third movie, which was another kind of knock on part 3, just because it's like those scenes were always so funny and just so great.
The third movie's rated R.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Third movie is missing a lot.
It really is.
You can definitely, and like we will get there, but you can definitely tell that the franchise was dying.
Yep, definitely. So part 2, we had the whole construction scene where he gets the construction people to basically leave for a week so he can take over that house, and that was hilarious, talking about how the owners wanted the house to be round, not square. So they said that the plans were updated and that, you know, they were doing it wrong. That was hilarious, and great, like always.
Taggart said, if he's here, he's robbing the place.
Oh god, and he's sitting in the fucking pool and telling them to get their swimming trunks on and get in the pool. It's like,
look at them titties on the TV. I love the grunt cop work that he goes through in this movie. Like he recognizes what the shell casings are, so he goes to look for like gun nuts to see if anybody knows, and that leads him to his first big lead.
Yep.
Just all the things like that. And when he's pretending he takes Billy's vitamins and he pretends it's some kind of explosive, he splashes water on his face like he's sweating nervous.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's just so fucking clever, man. It's such clever writing. It's just, oh, man, I couldn't come up with a movie like that so well, I don't think.
No. The other thing with this movie, too, is we find out how much of a kind of a sociopath Billy is.
Yes, he is a gun nut. Oh, my God. He pulls out that switchblade. He's like, home protection. Like, you're not at home, Billy.
His fucking apartment's just covered in plants, and then his bedroom is just like a wall of fucking guns. It's just fucking great. And then in his trunk and stuff, he's got all those fucking guns, too. I mean, he's just, like, armed to the fucking teeth.
Yeah, when they come across the crates of weapons at the end, Taggart hands them an RPG. And, here, Billy, you don't have that one. And he was, like, joking, and Billy's like, oh, this is great. I'm going to take this.
God, Taggart and Billy are just so fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they're so yin and yang, complete opposites of each other.
And yet they work so well together.
I love when Foley showed him how to break in through like an alarm sensor.
Yeah.
And he tries it, and it's like at a point where you want it to work so good, so bad, so you can be proud of him for, you know, paying attention and learning. Mm-hmm. It works out, but it doesn't stop the alarm like he wanted.
Yeah.
And just a part of me is, man, I really wanted that to work for you, man.
Right? Poor Billy. Tried so hard. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, part 2 is honestly almost as good as part 1. I mean, the writing's there. The characters, again, are there. Like, you love the characters that you're supposed to love. You hate the characters you're supposed to hate. Like, that scumbag fucking dude that's running the fucking police and everything. You're just like, you want to fucking hate him.
They cracked the code, and he's like, my own computer team cracked this code. And like, no, it didn't, motherfucker. Taking the credit for everything. I love, just like the first one, I love his motivations.
Yep.
Like, he hasn't been to Beverly Hills in 2 years. He finds out something bad happens to the captain, and he remembers, you know, this guy had my back. He saved my job.
Yep.
I have to go down there and help him. And he's super disappointed to find out that Billy and Taggart are not. And I would be too. Like, are you kidding me, guys? Fuck your job. This guy, he's like, where's the brotherly love? Where's the loyalty?
Yep. Such a good movie. It's like I was saying, it's almost as good as the first one. It's right up there though. It's a great continuation if nothing else. And it just plays together so well. You know, watching the first one and then the second one, just because the evolution of the characters is fucking phenomenal in this too, because they start out obviously with the first one. You know, Taggart and Billy are just like, Billy just kind of really annoys Taggart, and then Taggart obviously hates Axel, like you had talked about. But by this, they're like all like friends and close friends, and you know, it's nice to see that kind of evolution
It's
that
it's real
relationship.
good character development, something you really don't see in a whole lot of movies anymore.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I don't think I have really much else that I can really say about this, because I really don't have anything negative to really say other than the whole Bogomil situation where he's hardly in the movie. But that's even kind of minor too, because it plays the story, because he's fucking injured and almost dying.
Right, and your love for that character is what drives the movie, because you want to find out. You want the guy that put him in the hospital to be captured. You want, I don't know. As for me, it made it just as strong, even though he wasn't there. It was like it was there to help him.
Exactly. And then the last two things I'll talk about regarding this movie is number one, the Playboy Mansion. We have fucking Chris Rock being a fucking valet in his first fucking movie role. I thought that was great, because I never realized it was Chris Rock up until this viewing, because I never really paid much attention to it. And so that's great that he was in it. And then obviously you had, Hugh Hefner in it, and that whole scene was great too.
Yeah.
And then your dick's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Axel, of course, always having those great one-liners. It's fucking hilarious. And then the other thing is, like, throughout the movie, obviously Billy is kind of the pushover when it comes to this new captain or whatever. And, just basically being told all the time to shut up and to not talk, and for him to fucking stand up for himself at the fucking end is like, yes, you tell that motherfucker what you think.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the first movie, it was Taggart that did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he stood up and he said, it happened exactly the way the lieutenant told you.
Yep.
Where throughout the rest of the movie, he was like, I got to be honest. I got to tell the truth. I got to be, integral. And at the end, he was the guy that stood up for himself and his friends. And then in the second movie, it was Billy's turn.
Yep. And when Billy finally did that, it was like, fuck yes. It's about time you stood up for yourself, man. Great way. And it was a great way to end it, too. I mean, it was a great way to end that movie.
It wasn't as good as him standing up for himself against the customer in Fast Times.
No.
Mister, if you don't watch your language, I'm going to kick 100% of your ass.
That's so good. I love that fucking movie so much.
Same.
Fast Times is so good. Any final thoughts regarding part two here?
It's almost as perfect as part one.
Agreed. All right. Well, let's get to this. Let's talk about Beverly Hills Cop 3. So this was released May 25th, 1994. This was directed by John Landis. Eddie Murphy's back. Judge Reinhold's back. Bronson Pinchot is back as Serge. Then you have John Saxon in this as well, which I always loved that he was in this. This one had a budget of $50 million. This one only grossed about $119 million. So there's a huge difference in the amount of money that was made here. And this is the almost double the production budget of the second movie. So this one did not make almost hardly any money if you factor in any kind of marketing budget, on top of that. So
yeah, it's as far as a big box office movie, it's about as close to a dud as you can get without going negative.
Exactly. So the trivia for this, as Axel jumps into the spider ride at Wonderworld, the man he jumps in front of was George Lucas, which is very obvious if you've seen the movie. And then the theme park in the movie is Paramount's Great America in Santa Clara, California. So that's kind of what I had for trivia on this. John Landis, he's done a lot of great movies. He's also had some duds too. This would fall more towards the dud side of things for me. And honestly, a lot of it has to do with the characters you don't have anymore. Because you don't have that dynamic anymore, because Taggart's retired, so he's not in the fucking movie. Bogomil's not there, so you don't have that either. So you basically got Billy and Axel. And Axel in this one, in the way that, from what I had seen, that Eddie Murphy wanted to do was play it more straight, because he wanted Axel to be more mature. So that kind of the goofiness was missing from the Axel Foley character that was in the first two movies that made you love it. And it just felt like a very weird movie. It felt like it was a Beverly Hills Cop movie without a soul, honestly. It's kind of what it felt like.
All the things we talked about up until this point are different. Like his motivation to go out there was different.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, because it's been a long time, his boss dies, right?
Yep. His boss is killed by the guy that's basically running security at this park or something like that, if I remember rightly. So he's basically tracking him down. So Inspector Todd dies by the hands of this guy, and he's trying to chase him down and all that, and leads him basically back to California, back to Beverly Hills. So,
and then Taggart's not there, and so many people just aren't there. I don't know. I was pretty young when I watched this first time, and I did enjoy the idea of him running around this theme park. I thought that was kind of wacky, but like you said, the humor, like the wackiness of Foley was dumbed way down. It wasn't completely gone, but it might as well have been.
Right. Agreed. Like, and this movie definitely has some, like, moments. It definitely has its moments. I mean, like, the spider ride scene, that one's a pretty good scene, especially for action-wise.
Yeah.
With him climbing across the fucking cars, trying to get to the kids to save them. And, you know, I don't know. It's got some moments, but at the same time, like I was saying, it doesn't really have that soul anymore.
I still like Billy in this.
Yeah, Billy's still great, but even with that, he's kind
it's
of
not.
like,
he's the old cop now.
Exactly.
But I don't really. He still looks like young Billy.
he does. So I mean, yeah, you definitely still have Billy there, and you've got this new discount Taggart. You know, I mean, that's kind of the best way I can describe him. Is it's like kind of supposed to be like the replacement for Taggart, but he's just not the same.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's kind of a mess of a movie, honestly. And I don't hate the movie. I really don't. It's just that it's sad, especially when you're because I watch these literally 1 through 3 right in a row. And when you're doing that, when you're coming off the high of the first two, which are just so great, and going into this, it's almost like a letdown. It's like, why in the fuck did I decide to watch this? You know? If I would have watched it with some time in between, I probably would have been okay with it. But watching it right in a row, it's just kind of like, God, this is such a sad movie to watch because it's just not the same. It's trying to be like Beverly Hills Cop, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, I was just out of curiosity. I just looked it up. It's only got a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty low.
Yeah.
Compared to the first movie that had 83%, which is really high.
Yeah. And yeah, the other thing that was like what was I trying to say? Like a perk for the movie, or like something good about the movie was, you know, having Serge back and having him being like an arms dealer.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And instead of him selling art, now he's selling weapons, basically, which I thought was hilarious. And he's got that god-awful looking fucking weapon that Foley ends up using at the end, which that was hilarious. You know, where it's got a radio, it's got a fucking microwave, it's got a fucking gun. I mean, it's got everything. And that was funny. And, you know, that made me laugh, and that did its job. Is it enough to save the movie? No, of course not. But I mean, it at least had some moments where it was kind of wacky.
It was a different kind of wacky than Beverly Hills Cop usually is. Like, it's not usually wacky like that. Mm-hmm. It's not usually like slapstick wacky or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Serge he's funny, man. I thought I just watched the first one today, and he cracking me up so fucking much.
Yeah, so good. But I mean, you've got like 3 or 4 different like bad guys in this movie. I mean, you've got
which isn't new to action movies.
No, it's not. Like here's one of my biggest gripes with the movie is that FBI agent who ends up turning out to be a bad guy at the end.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like
I
a
remember
wasted opportunity, because he's almost like an afterthought through most of the movie. Like, he's there in the beginning and kind of sprinkled throughout, but then all of a sudden he's like this guy that's going to kill Axel at the very end of the movie. It just comes out of nowhere. That just felt like very odd to me. And like, there's no build up to that whatsoever. It's like they just felt like they needed to throw a twist in there just to have a twist, and it just felt out of place.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is that ending fight scene throughout the park I thought was great.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like, a lot of the action scenes in this movie are pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't have that clever writing that the other two had.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Then you've got that whole kind of love it between Axel and the chick that works there for the security and whatnot, which was something, but it wasn't like necessary, really. You know?
Yeah, that wasn't really a thing. He wasn't really like chasing women in the other movies.
Exactly. So, but I did like the whole theme park setting. I thought that was great. It was different than 1 and 2.
Wonder World.
Yep.
When he thought he busted them, and there's like I can't remember what they called it. It was like Wonder Bucks or something like that.
That was great. Yeah, I mean, overall, they did a pretty good job with the setting of it. The setting of it was great. They could have did better with the story and the writing. I mean, it is what it is. It's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie, though, in my opinion. It is one I will watch again, and it just won't be one that I'll watch again after watching parts 1 and 2, because I don't want to feel sad.
I'm the same. It's not a bad movie, and to me, it's just mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
It's just middle of the road.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'll watch it. If it's on, I'll watch it, but I probably won't put it in over something else I think is funnier or more entertaining as far as action goes.
Exactly. But that's kind of all I got to say about part 3, because, I mean, it is what it is. It's definitely a mediocre movie, like you were saying. It's not great. It's not bad, though. Definitely middle of the road for me. If you were to rank these 3 movies, how would you rank them, though? I can probably guess what you're going to say.
Yeah, it's easy. It's in chronological 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I would agree. It's 1 and 2 are definitely really close, because they're so close. But obviously, part 1 is such a classic, and it's just that much better. But it's barely, because they're so good and they complement each other so well. And part 3 is obviously just a step down from both of them, so definitely chronological for me as well. But yeah, and as always, we would love to know what you guys think. You can always reach out to us through our social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at CLS Podcast. We would love to hear what you guys think of this series and all the other ones that we've done this month. Feel free to reach out to us. But as we leave, though, did you have any final words that you wanted to say, Mark?
You don't got to be embarrassed if your dick gets hard. Your dick's supposed to get hard.
That's perfect. I fucking love it. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
This episode of the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com. or join in the conversation on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.